Some good coffee. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my 100 pull-ups. So today was pull day, which is back and biceps and rear delts and traps. So I decided I wanted to do 100 pull-ups. When I do any pulling movements, I always keep these two principles in mind. Get better at it and get stronger at it. Although that's the same thing. Get better at it in terms of efficiency and get stronger at it in terms of doing more reps or doing more weight. So in this case, I was doing pull-ups. So I would always try to at least do better reps of pull-ups than I did last time. Like let's say I did 20 pull-ups last week. I would try to do maybe 20 pull-ups but with better form, or go for 25 pull-ups or even 30 pull-ups. So in that way, I'm applying progressive overload, which my body will respond by changing into having a much more diesel than better back. So how I did my pull-ups was I did 2 sets of 20 reps, and then I couldn't keep doing 20 reps anymore, or else I would have done 5 sets with 20 reps. I'm not there yet. So I did 2 sets of 20s for my first 2 sets, and then I just did 10 and 15 reps for the rest of the sets. I think I did 2 sets for 15s, which means that I only did 3 sets of 10s. So I did 2 sets of 20s, 2 sets of 15s, and then 3 sets of 10s. And that is how I accomplished my 100 pull-ups. Now, I don't do 100 pull-ups every time on my pull day when I'm working on back, but today I just felt like doing pull-ups. And I've always said, and will always say, if you want to build a great back, you don't need to do all these other fancy schmancy movements, all these fancy machines. Just go and do pull-ups. That's the only back workout you need. I've actually just built my back off of just doing pull-ups. Everything else is just accessories, but my main back movement to build a good dieseled and strong muscular back, in my opinion, is pull-ups. That's all you need. And you don't need a gym or any machines for that. So do some pull-ups. And it helps strengthen your arms too, and joints. I've noticed that my forearms would get more tighter after I would do pull-ups, so it also works on forearms if you want to build your forearms. Keep in mind, the more experience you have, the more years you put into developing a stronger back. 100 pull-ups isn't going to be enough for volume in order for your body to respond into building more muscle. When you are at a level to where 100 pull-ups doesn't feel too hard for you, then it's time to up it. Remember progressive overload. Keep in mind, when you are doing pull-ups, I've noticed a lot of people don't retract their scapula. Now notice when I'm doing pull-ups, before I even pull, the first thing I do is hang, right? Now before I do any pulling, I first retract the scapula to get my body in place so I can benefit as much as I could from these pull-ups and retract and contract all of the muscle groups that I want to contract, because the back is a big muscle group. So the one main key thing I always remember before I start pulling, I retract the scapula first, as you can see here. I retract, then pull. And if my body gets too fatigued to where I can't keep it retracted, then I just stop, because it gets harder to contract the back when you're not even retracted no more. It's mostly just arms at that point. And another key point is pull with your elbows and keep your hands as hooks. You are not using your hands for anything but just to hook the pull-up bar. It's just basically to keep you hanging. That's the only thing you're using your hands for. And from there, pull with your elbows. You will feel the contraction more with your back. And those are my 2 tips. You know, I came across a saying by Jim Rohn 2 days ago, I think, or was it yesterday, that really resonated with me. He said that life responds to deserve, not to need. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can look at it, but what he's saying is, whatever you want out of life, life will give you in return for what you're willing to put in for it. So if you're trying to build a great body, you have to put in the work in terms of the nutrition, the workouts, the sleep, the workout program. Are you putting in your time and effort enough for you to deserve the gains that you want? If that makes sense. It basically applies to everything that you want out of life. It doesn't even have to be a muscular body. It can be a certain career. It can be a certain set of income. It can be a certain relationship. What are you putting in that will make you a person that deserves that thing that you want? And it's the law of nature, the way I see it. You know, because you basically get out what you put in. And that's what's so beautiful about life, you know? So I just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully it gave you the same motivation and profound wisdom that it gave me. Although I've already kind of heard that, but in a different version, but still same meaning. Whatever you want out of life, be willing to put in the work and give in something that's worth deserving that thing. So yeah, that was my poll day, and I'll catch you guys next time.